Chapter 775, Dream Path Pioneer. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios, Western Desert. Gu Immortal Tang Miao's body shook. She opened her eyes and spat out a mouthful of blood. Another failure. Tang Miao's expression was pale as paper. Compared to the injuries on her body, she felt even more despair toward the failure in exploring the dream realm. Tang Miao's soul was heavily injured. Her head was spinning as her body felt heavy. She sighed in her heart. Brother, I was useless and could not save you. Even after exploring the dream realm deeply, I could not find you. She shut her eyes. Bitter tears flowed down her cheeks, forming two streams of tears. A moment later, the anxious Tang clan Gu immortals rushed over, coming to the secret room and standing in front of Tang Miao. Tang clan's first supreme elder, Tang Yang, frowned. He looked at Tang Miao, who was sitting on the bed, as he said heavily, I did not think that after spending so much effort to borrow the rank 7 emotion Gu from Zhao tribe, the dream realm exploration still suffered a heavy loss. Sigh, dream realms in themselves are mystical and strange. Moreover, this is thieving heaven demon venerables dream realm. Gu Immortal Tang Lan sighed. The prophecy of 3 venerables had spread throughout the world. The information regarding Great Dream, Immortal Venerable, was known to not just Central Continent, but the super forces of the other 4 regions as well. Most of them were exploring dream realms, accumulating experience, and developing new Gu worms. As a super force of Western Desert, Tang Clan had accidentally discovered thieving heaven demon venerables dream realm many years ago. This discovery triggered the enthusiasm of Tang Clan in researching Dream Path. In order to explore this dream realm, Tang Clan's #1 genius Gu Immortal, Tang Fang Ming, had taken this important mission from the clan, but he suffered a great loss and was still lost in the dream realm now. His sister, Tang Miao, in order to save her brother, had tried many times but failed repeatedly. This loss was even more severe. In order to explore the dream realm this time, Tang Clan spent a huge sum to borrow the emotion path Immortal Gu and entrusted hope in her. The result was ice-cold disappointment. Although the Immortal Gu was useful and could suppress my emotions, preventing the dream realm from drawing them out, this also made me an outsider. I was always in the outskirts of the dream's core. This time, I did not even manage to discover brother's identity. As she sat on the bed, Tang Miao tended to her injuries as she said solemnly, Sigh, it seems that dream path Gu worms are needed to explore dream realms. But our Tang clan has already explored the dream realm for 60 years. We have only created over a dozen dream realm mortal Gu. They are all rank 3 and below. More than half of them have extremely limited use. More specifically, only 4 or 5 are suited for dream realm exploration. The hardest part was the start. Especially at this initial stage, it was extremely difficult. The pioneers were moving forward without certainty. Every small step was a huge success. Regarding Dream Path, nobody had any experience. Their knowledge was like sheets of blank paper. Once they passed this difficult initial step and accumulated enough experience, their advantage would become larger, like a rolling snowball. Towards the middle to late stage, their advantage would be clear. The difficulty of researching Dream Path would be greatly reduced. In Fang Yuan's memories, there was a time when a new Dream Path Gu worm was created every day. The varieties were as numerous as the stars in the sky. That was a time when Dream Path was flourishing, like flowers in spring. In human history, each of these grand eras would lead to the birth of a supreme expert. According to the prophecy of 3 venerables, this grand expert should be Great Dream Immortal Venerable. But Fang Yuan did not live until Great Dream Immortal Venerable appeared. Speaking of which, at this initial stage, Tang Clan was already at the lead of the era. Even when compared to the 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent, their progress was among the highest. But the limitations of this era greatly restricted them. It was like a blind man walking down a path. Without any clues, they could only explore step by step. After endless effort was spent, they only had a small result over a dozen Dream Path Mortal Gu. And among these results, the truly useful Dream Path Mortal Gu were extremely few. For example, on Earth, a newly created experimental product would be very far from military usage, and even further from civilian use. Moreover, this innovation and exploration was not possible for every Gu immortal. One needed talent and aptitude. In this aspect, Gu immortals who only followed certain rules were useless. Without a creative mind, they were inferior to even mortal Gu masters. Tang clan had many Gu immortals, but only Tang Fang Ming was suited for this. These dozen or so Dream Path mortal Gu were mostly his creation. One could say that he was the main force behind Tang clan's dream realm exploration. The regretful thing was, Tang Fang Ming was trapped in the dream realm now. Because of this, Tang clan's progress had come to a halt. Tang Fang Ming's body was intact. The clan's Gu immortals were protecting it, but his soul that was in the dream realm had already left his body. It had vanished. Once one was trapped in the dream realm, their soul would weaken continuously, weakening until they died. The Tang clan, Gu immortals, especially Tang Miao, were extremely anxious, but there was nothing they could do. "How is my brother now?" After stabilizing her injuries, Tang Miao asked. The Supreme Elders looked at each other. One of them spoke with much difficulty. "We can protect his body, but there are almost no guts Gu in the market. We can't buy them any longer." Tang Miao frowned, asking anxiously, "What is going on?" The Gu immortal from earlier replied, "You know that there is only one person selling guts Gu. It is a monopoly. But not long ago, this seller stopped releasing the product into the market for an unknown reason. Even though there are still guts Gu in the market, without the source supplier, it is drying out. Right now, the market cannot satisfy our demands." Guts Gu was among the best methods to strengthen the soul and had no drawbacks, and most importantly, it took effectiveness quickly. Spectral Soul Demon. Venerable had once commented, this was the #1 soul-strengthening method in the world. He was absolutely right. For Tang Fang Ming, Guts Gu was the method to save his life. "Without Guts Gu, Brother Will..." Tang Miao was anxious. Her tone was flustered as she said with a shred of hope, asking, "Why are they not selling it? Is there so little circulation in the market?" This time, Tang Clan First Supreme Elder spoke. "We had contacted the seller and promised huge profits, but there was no response. These last days, the Guts Gu that are preserving Tang Fang Ming's life are the remaining Guts Gu in the market that our tribe is purchasing with a huge sum. By now, the Guts Gu supply has dried out. Barely any is left." Tang Miao heard this and her heart sank to rock bottom. Her breathing became rough. Tang Clan had ordinary soul-strengthening methods. Earlier, before Guts Gu were sold in Treasure Yellow Heaven, they used these methods to preserve Tang Fang Ming's life. But now Tang Fang Ming was too deep in the dream. His soul was weakening too quickly. These methods were becoming useless. The recovery could not keep up with his weakening. Without Guts Gu, Tang Fang Ming would die in his dream. What could they do? Tang Miao gritted her teeth. She frowned as she stared at these Gu immortals deeply. "I don't care. If you guys didn't give brother that mission back then, he would not be like this. Now that he is this state, are you going to just watch? You can't say that. What do you mean just watch? These years we in Tang Clan had spent so much effort and finances to preserve Tang Fang Ming's life. You are also one of us. You saw everything for yourself." Third Supreme Elder retorted. He listed many examples. They were not false. He had the evidence and proof of their actions. "I don't care." Tang Miao's eyebrows were in a frown. Her indigo color eyes were gathering rage. Even though the surface was calm, it was deep like an abyss. Third Supreme Elder, say no more. First Supreme Elder stretched out his hand and stopped him. Third Supreme Elder stopped speaking as First Supreme Elder sighed deeply while gazing at Tang Miao, who was extremely furious and stubborn. Tang Fang Ming and Tang Miao had a close sibling relationship. All of the Tang Clan Gu immortals knew this. This pair of siblings were once stripped of their statuses and mercilessly abandoned when they were young. The siblings went through much hardship and survived. Due to a fortuitous encounter, the brother, Tang Fang Ming, became a Gu immortal, while his sister, Tang Miao, became a rank 5 peak stage Gu master. The two charged back to Tang clan to take revenge. The Tang clan. Gu immortals appeared and mediated with Tang Fangming. Eventually, they sacrificed a band of mortal higher-ups and managed to obtain the return of Tang Fangming. Compared to a Gu immortal, even if the sacrifice was a huge number of mortals, what was that worth? Tang Fangming understood the situation. He joined Tang clan and used the clan's help to make his sister, Tang Miao, a Gu immortal. But Tang Miao was not as big-hearted as her brother. She still had negative preconceptions against Tang clan. She had hidden resentment and indignation. Right now, when her brother's life was at stake, any sort of explanation was useless to her. Thus, First Supreme Elder said to Tang Miao with a sorrowful expression, "I discussed this with the elders for 3 days and 3 nights. There are only 3 ways to help Fang Ming now." "What 3 ways?" Tang Miao's expression softened. She immediately asked. "The best method is to find an ancient soul beast and kill it. By fusing its soul into Fang Ming's body, we can use killer moves to nourish his soul with that soul, allowing Fang Ming to survive this ordeal. The second best method is to use the blood path immortal Gu in the clan to use a method of sensing, forcibly retrieving Fang Ming's soul. As for the worst method, it is to find that lone cultivator, White Sea Shatuo, for help." After First Supreme Elder finished his words, the bitter expression on his face intensified. Tang Miao listened and fell into deep silence. After a while, she laughed grimly, raising her head and sending them out. "I need to think about this, elders. Please go back first." As the Gu immortals left one by one, only Tang Miao was left. She laughed again, tears falling from her eyes. They were showing a cold, mocking expression. "What best method? Once we use it, even if we succeed, the souls would fuse and you will be neither man nor beast. As for the second method, the chances of success are less than 30%. Even if we do not fail, the soul called back would be greatly damaged. You might not even recognize me, your own sister. As for the last solution, there is some hope in that. Although that White Sea Shatuo is a lone cultivator, he has incredible dream path proficiency. Even brother praised him many times in private. But to ask him for help, we will have to pay a huge price. These old fogies are saying that only because they are concerned about the Paradise Earth immortal venerable inheritance that us siblings have in our hands. Indeed, only this inheritance can move White Sea Shatuo." Thinking of this, Tang Miao wiped the tears on her face. "Brother, I will not give up, even if I have to sacrifice this inheritance. I will save you." Tang Miao sat on her bed. Even in the dim lighting, she still had the beauty of a flower. "But to ask him for help, we will have to pay a huge price. These old fogies are saying that only because they are concerned about the Paradise Earth immortal venerable inheritance that us siblings have in our hands. Indeed, only this inheritance can move White Sea Shatuo." Thinking of this, Tang Miao wiped the tears on her face. "Brother, I will not give up, even if I have to sacrifice this inheritance. I will save you." Tang Miao sat on her bed. Even in the dim lighting, she still had the beauty of a flower.